Okay, so here's what we understand. President Trump is working the phones at this hour. He's on the phone with Middle Eastern leaders. Just moments ago, we're told that he hung up with, not hung up on, just saying he finished the call with the Prime Minister of Iraq, Haider al-Abadi. Now, after speaking with the leaders of these nations, Afghanistan, Qatar, and Kuwait, no doubt Donald Trump's proposed travel ban of 7 Muslim nations was the topic of discussion. This, as what we showed you yesterday that we obtained, a list of 24 individuals with ties to terror from the 7 nations in question who not only managed to come to this country, but then were either naturalized citizens, they came as refugees, they got green cards, and you know me, folks, I am a measured person, but there's stuff in here that is very worrisome and disturbing. So I wanted to bring in Fox News Strategic Analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. First to these phone calls. Yemen. It appears that the Trump administration is shifting focus to the country of Yemen versus Syria, and you got to give me the spin on that.
Well, it's really a crisis for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia thought they could intervene in the internal collapse in Yemen and fix it, and it turns out that Iran has managed to very cheaply embarrass and bog down the Saudi military. Yemen is now a failed state, running out of water, by the way, facing a famine, and I think we're just looking at that as it's a crisis. I'm not sure anybody has an answer for that one. As far as Syria goes, we're really getting pushed out by the Russians, the Iranians, the Turks. Mm-hmm. I think the administration finally has to be a little patient and work out a comprehensive, integrated strategy, the way businesses do.
Okay, well, the way businesses do is they find their evidence, they put it together, and they work the strategy. When we got this list, we decided to work very hard to verify it. And on this list were 24 different individuals from countries like Iraq. There are a few from Syria, lots from Somalia, and we picked out some, and I know you looked at these, that I found extremely disturbing. These are all people who either came in as refugees or immigrants. For example, this is a Somali, Abdinisar Ibrahim. I'm sorry, let me give you Mohammed Osman Mohammadou. He came in as a refugee, naturalized U.S. citizen, and was later sentenced to 30 years in prison, convicted of attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction, a bomb, to set off at a Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Portland, Oregon. There's another Somali. He came in as a refugee, Liban Haji Mohammed. He was a Virginia cabbie. He was able to come and work here. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen. We don't have his picture, but then the next thing you know, he was accused of providing material support to Al-Shabaab, which is a foreign terrorist organization. He's escaped. They think he went across the Mexican border. Ralph, there are a bunch of others here, including an Iraqi translator who's supposed to get special status. He had pledged allegiance to ISIS and then lied about it. This list has gotten a lot of our viewers very upset. I couldn't tell you how many tweets I got after we talked about it. And I think it's important that we do say that none of these people were able to kill Americans on American soil, but would they if they could?
Well, these people would have killed Americans if they could. Thankfully, our intelligence community and law enforcement really has done a great job since 9/11. Liz, you really raised a couple of points here. One, we have not had proportionate problems with all Muslim American communities. The Somalis have been a disaster. It's a barbarous country that thinks female genital mutilation, deforming little girls' private parts is a good idea. Whereas, on the other hand, you look at other countries on the list where the Iranian American community has been a great success. There are people fleeing a tyrannical regime. They're educated and civilized. So I think, on one hand, we need to address the fact that we have a real per capita problem with the Somali American communities. We need to work on that. On the other hand, we obviously need comprehensive, stricter immigration reform.
Which is what Donald Trump wants.
Yes, it is, but haste makes waste. And, I am with his goals, but you got to get it right. And this executive order on immigration was the equivalent, Liz, of an IPO that's never been run past the lawyers or accountants, headed for trouble. And now he's got to dig out of this hole.
It's great to see you. And look, many Americans are conflicted. Many of us have all come from somewhere else. I'm Russian, Romanian via Canada. And so we want to keep this a vibrant country.
Absolutely.
With all different types. But we
need to know who's here.
Yeah, and this list proves many came in as refugees, yes, got naturalized or green cards, and then tried to pull off these horrible acts. Thankfully, they were not able to. Lieutenant Colonel, yes, Ralph Peters, we appreciate you coming on.